In a letter to respected COP21 world leaders in Paris, France in 2015, Supreme Master Ching Hai urgently advised them to implement vegan law as the solution to mitigate global warming. The letter reads as follows. Respected COP21 world leaders Paris, my special salute and best wishes to all of your distinguished, honoured ladies and gentlemen who have gathered in Paris for the protection of our world. This is just a reminder that just paying money alone cannot save lives, but being vegan does. A lot of evidence and information about this for you to consider are in the book From Crisis to Peace, free online at crisis2peace.org. Countless lives in the present and future, including yours and your children's future, children of your children's, are in your hands. Save them by voting for and implementing vegan law to stabilize the climate. Otherwise, lives on Earth will perish and we will be committing a graver offense than all the acts of killing and wars combined. With all love in God, yours most sincerely, Supreme Master Ching Hai. Vegan.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/PE.
Нашите предавания предлагат много езици. Моля вижте suprememastertv.com/schedule и suprememastertv.com/PE.
This is our time. We are sending a very clear message to the leadership of this country, if we do have one. No SARS, no vote. Okay? If you want to win our vote, you're going to have to give us clean air to breathe. I think the message is very simple and very clear.
Worldwide protests. Citizens urging action on environmental pollution, Part 1 of a multi-part series. Continue watching to find out more.
Ahimsa, or non-injury, is the first and foremost ethical principle of every Hindu. It is gentleness and non-violence, whether physical, mental, or emotional. It is abstaining from causing hurt or harm to all beings. Satguru Sivaya Subramania Swami, vegetarian.
It's just been a great relationship that you would have with a dog, only it's with a warthog.
Hey, Wallace, come here. What you doing, boy?
When I got Wallace, it's given me a purpose that I know I'm healing. I did a combat tour in Afghanistan with the military. When I came home, we tried everything, the counseling and the medicine and all of that. But it wasn't until I immersed myself with these animals. And now I have combat vets and I have people that suffered PTSD that come here to heal. So it was like a dream come true after he came to the sanctuary. I'm one of the luckiest people in the world. That's all I can say.
Wagainon is how you say how are you doing in Anguillian. Concerned viewers, my name is Delano. The charming people of Anguilla wish for a future where every decision is made with the Earth's well-being in mind, where our planet thrives in all its splendor. Welcome to our show, Worldwide Protests, Citizens Urging Action on Environmental Pollution, Part 1 of a multi-part series. Environmental pollution, one of the modern world's most pressing challenges, has been on the rise in recent decades and is having a serious impact on living organisms, including humans. Harmful materials such as carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and other greenhouse gases from vehicles and factories, as well as chemicals from industry, plastic waste, sewage, pesticides, and runoff from animal-people factories discharge harmful substances into the environment. This process results in pollution of the air, water, and land. Environmental pollution leads to a wide range of diseases and contributes to more than 9 million premature deaths each year, with 7 million caused by air pollution. Exposure to polluted air can result in a number of ailments, including stroke, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, tracheal and bronchial cancers, lung cancer, aggravated asthma, and lower respiratory infections. Air pollution is responsible for 1/3 of deaths from stroke, lung cancer, and heart disease. According to the World Health Organization, or WHO, 99% of the global population is exposed to air of suboptimal quality. Media outlets have extensively covered the smog hanging over cities around the world. According to a study by scientists from the University of Chicago, poor air quality shortens the average Indian's life expectancy by 5.3 years and by nearly 12 years in Delhi, one of the world's most polluted cities. Long-term exposure to air pollution is estimated to have contributed to over 1.67 million annual deaths in India. Children and babies are the most vulnerable to air pollution due to having more respiratory infections than adults. The State of Global Air 2020 report found that air pollution caused more than 116,000 deaths in Indian infants within a month of birth in 2019. Indian citizens marched on the streets to demand that the government take action to tackle this issue.
Citizens gathered at India Gate to raise their voices against the rising air pollution levels in the Delhi NCR region.
Today's protest is important, and especially important for the privileged, because they are the only people who can fight for air pollution. Someone who's worrying about their next meal does not have the bandwidth to come here and protest.
This is our time. We are sending a very clear message to the leadership of this country, if we do have one. No SARS, no vote. Okay? If you want to win our vote, you're going to have to give us clean air to breathe. I think the message is very simple and very clear.
Indian protest outside of the Environment Ministry in New Delhi over poor air quality concerns. The city currently has emergency pollution levels more than 35 times the WHO safe limits.
I keep on getting unwell because of the air pollution, like my eyes start burning, and even after medicines it doesn't heal. It only heals when I go out, like outstation, like maybe to America or somewhere where the air is way better.
I think there's brilliant policies in place, there's very strong plans on paper. Unfortunately, nothing is implemented and the government is being very lethargic. This is public health emergency. We are at crisis levels. We have no time to lose. They must take urgent action.
The most powerful daily prayer for any time and before meditation, which is the order from God, and Supreme Master Ching Hai shares with us by His blessed grace.
We humbly worship, praise, thank obey and love God Almighty, the Most High, the greatest, for world vegan, world peace, and our soul liberation. We thank, love, praise the only Son of God, who is the ultimate Master for our salvation. We follow the teaching of all the saints and sages. We thank, love, and praise them, who are the representatives of God for our spiritual elevation.
Fashion students in the capital, New Delhi, protest the air pollution by marching together, wearing designed clothes and masks, promoting clean air.
Protect our air. Go green. Breathe clean.
Even young children are growing concerned for themselves and others.
A 9-year-old climate activist staged a protest in Delhi's Vijay Chowk. Lisi Priya Gangujam demonstrated over air pollution in the national capital. She held a handwritten poster demanding permanent solution for air pollution.
I want our leaders to take immediate climate action to fight this air pollution. You can just see in Delhi how air pollution is so dangerous and even children can't move out of the home. I'm worried about the health of the school children and small babies. Government announced that there would be holidays for 3 days, again for 5 days, 10 days, but this is not a solution. Our leaders are just busy in blaming each other instead of finding a long-term solution. They are just saying the speech. They are not doing any action. I want our world leaders to do more action.
In Kosovo's capital, Pristina, hundreds of people gathered to protest the extremely high level of pollution. The severe air pollution in Pristina is caused by power plants using coal, smoke from wood-burning stoves, and exhaust fumes from old cars. Environmentalists have urged the government to take action against the hazardous levels of fine particulate matter in the air.
We are one of the most polluted places on earth right now. Like 1 hour ago I checked, and we are even before Skopje and other Asian places. So we are here. This is the first step towards other actions that are going to take part. This protest is not political. None of us is related to politics. We just want to help, and we just want policymakers to take some measures and decisions towards the air pollution, because as you can see, it's hazardous.
Serbians also protested against the poor air quality in Belgrade.
There's been a weekend of protests in Serbia over environmental issues that have galvanized activists and ordinary citizens to get out onto the street across the country. On Sunday, thousands turned out in the capital, Belgrade, to protest against air pollution in the Serbian capital.
The European Environment Agency's report says that the pollution-related mortality rate in Serbia is the largest in Europe. Belgrade is the most polluted big city in Europe. 15,000 people died because of the pollution. This means 50 deaths per day, which is more than from COVID-19. And we say nothing and do nothing about that.
On Saturday, protesters blocked roads and bridges to protest against legislation they say favours foreign investors, specifically Rio Tinto, which is trying to develop the giant Jadar lithium project in the country. There were several clashes between police and protesters. For its part, Rio Tinto says the project will be in line with the highest environmental standards.
Air pollution protests have also been held in many other countries. The UN has called air pollution a global emergency and urged nations to work together to improve air quality for the safety of citizens.
Vegan, special people.
We'll pause now for a moment and return after this message. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to our show, Worldwide Protests, Citizens Urging Action on Pollution, Part 1 of a multi-part series. Smoking is not only bad for human health, but also contributes to air pollution. According to the journal Tobacco Control, cigarettes emit air pollution at a rate 10 times higher than diesel car exhaust. Cigarette butts littered by smokers further pollute the environment. Climate activists in Portugal piled up 650,000 cigarette butts to raise awareness of this hazardous waste.
In a surprising street performance designed to draw a crowd, climate campaigner Andrea Snowy scoured through cigarette butts to get people talking about pollution.
It's highly toxic, so this should be considered as toxic waste.
Activists dumped 650,000 cigarette butts into a city square in Portugal's capital city of Lisbon after filling more than 40 buckets.
But we have still people coming and bringing more cigarette butts like every few minutes.
The World Health Organization says 4.5 trillion cigarettes filled with heavy metals and chemicals are littered every year. Butts contain plastic fibers that can take decades to decompose, and the toxic trash often ends up in oceans with deadly consequences.
Well, the CDC says cigarette butts are the most littered item in the world. In the U.S., about 9.7 billion cigarette butts are tossed each year. 4 billion end up in our waterways.
Plastic waste is everywhere nowadays. From the peak of Mount Everest, the world's highest mountain, to one of the most isolated islands in the world, Henderson Island. Every year, we produce more than 400 million tons of plastic waste, and only about 9% is recycled. According to an Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development projection, global plastic waste will nearly triple by 2060. Our water, soil, and even air are heavily contaminated with microplastics. Many campaigns have been launched to protest plastic pollution.
Plastic free! Plastic free! Plastic free! Plastic free!
Scores of students marched across Cayman's capital on Thursday, 4th November, in an effort to raise awareness of single-use plastics and renew their call for a ban. The hour-long demonstration was organized by Protect Our Future and began along Seafarers Way, Georgetown, and ended on the steps of the Government Administration Building.
Peace is happening around our world.
There are many countries who have taken actions to promote peace and foster amity among peoples and governments. The following is one of them. Etc.
August 2022.
With mediating assistance from the president of Guinea-Bissau, the Senegalese government signs a peace agreement with the movement of Democratic Forces of Casamance, who pledged to lay down their arms and work toward a diplomatic solution. By creating peace, we all can make a loving, serene, and prosperous world.
Greenpeace activists installed 6 and 3 foot high whale person sculptures in front of the Pantheon in the heart of Rome. Emerging from a sea of plastic waste, these sculptures were meant to raise awareness about the global plastic pollution crisis. Greenpeace emphasized the role of major corporations in the production of single-use plastics.
We collected the garbage on 7 beaches on Italian Sea, and we found that most of them is single-use plastic. 80% of them is from this company. It's Coca-Cola, Unilever, Nestlé, Ferrero, San Benedetto, and Haribo.
While the UN Environment Programme held discussions to reduce plastic waste, activists gathered outside UNESCO headquarters in Paris to emphasize prioritizing people over giant industrial companies seen as the primary polluters.
What do we want? Global plastic free! When do we want it? Now!
99% of our plastics come from fossil fuels, but it also means that the whole life cycle of plastic starts producing greenhouse gas emissions that continue to drive climate change.
While plastics are convenient, their negative effects on global warming have been proven. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development says in 2019, 3.4% of worldwide emissions came from plastic.
The UN is working on a treaty with various nations in the hope of drastically reducing plastic pollution by 2040. Meanwhile, the environment, wildlife, and citizens in polluted areas are still suffering the consequences of plastic pollution. We thank world citizens and activists for raising awareness about air and plastic pollution. We hope world leaders listen to their citizens' voices and work together to address the current environmental crisis.
Vegan tested positive for nobility.
The quickest place I could find to put him down was right in the bed with Herman. Herman is a wild pigeon, but what I saw next totally amazed me. I snapped a few pictures. It's like Herman tried to get on top of him and mother him, if you will. They're really cute together. Everybody needs somebody, especially when you're not feeling good or you're just not 100%. It's amazing. It just all happened by chance.
Loving viewers, thank you for your company today. Please join us again on Monday, January 15th for worldwide protests, Citizens Urging Action on Environmental Pollution, Part 2 of a multi-part series. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television for Dr. Crystal Heath, Vegan, a compassionate and courageous veterinarian, Part 1 of 2. May the consciousness of all beings on earth be quickly raised.
Be vegan. Make peace. Do good deeds. Heaven Godspeed.